Good morning, everyone. This is Marvin from StockMarketPlan.com. Today I'm bringing to you a technical look at the automakers group. Okay, Ford, GM, Daimler, Chrysler, and the like. Okay, so let's go ahead and we got a lot to cover. Let's go ahead and get right into the charts here. All right, the first one I'm going to talk about is Ford. So right now we're looking at Ford. Okay, and this is a year chart. Here's 2010. December, okay, and this is all of 2011, okay, and here we are, okay, on a Friday, August 19th. Now, I drew this line here, this support line right here, this yellow line, and let me show you why I drew that. Okay, I had to go to a weekly chart here to show you. Right here, the week of June 28th of 2010, June 20th of 2010. Okay, that's how far I have to go back to see where the stock traded, and this is important. When it traded at the levels that it's at right now, when was the last time it traded there? Okay, well, back in June of 2010, and that's important because a lot of times I've heard that the market forgets. Okay, what does that mean? That the market forgets old resistance and support levels. Technically, okay, what we're looking at right here, and what happens is, you know, as this stock comes down here, a lot of people are looking at the same technicals, and they usually say that 2 years, people, you know, you can argue this, but you know what I hear the most is 2 years. After 2 years, the charts forget, basically. Well, we're well within 2 years, so I think Ford can see a bottoming process here. Okay, now again, this whole thought is again on the heels of the market. The market is in major trouble right now. Okay, seeing a lot of depreciation. The market just itself is trying to find some footing so it can base out and move out of here. And you know, so what I'm trying to say is, if I offer an opinion on a stock, Ford, Honda, IBM, Microsoft, Apple, it doesn't really matter. They are all part of the overall market, the overall indices, the S&P, the Dow, okay, the NASDAQ, you know, and they're going to trade. They're going to trade individually, yes, but they're also going to trade with the overall market breadth in mind, what the market is doing. So when I look at a stock like this, like Ford, I look at also, I'm thinking in the back of my head already negative because of the overall market breadth. It is not favorable to be buying stocks here right now. If you're a holder of the stock already, you know, we've seen some major depreciation from a loss of capital, even from here. This is a support level right here, I would say. Okay, but let's go back to now that we see where the trend line originated from. Okay, so there is the last low of June of 2010. Okay, that I see. Okay, now let's go back to a daily. Okay, here we are back at a daily chart. So the low that it put in was on August 8th, okay, and we closed Friday, okay, August 19th. We closed at $9.99, so just above this 987 low. I think that if Ford is to pierce this low, for whatever reason, whether it's overall market breadth doing it to the stock or just heavy, you know, distribution that we've seen in the automakers, whatever that might be, if the price comes below this low here, I think it'd be very bearish for the stock. Okay, and when I mean below the low, I mean close below 987. Okay, that is the last line of support that I see right now for Ford. And you know, I'm not just picking on Ford. Stick around and you'll see what I mean. There's a lot of other stocks in the auto group, and this is why I always emphasize so much. You gotta know what the group is doing, whether it's biomedicals, whether it's pharmaceuticals, whether it's technology, whether it's transports, whether it's utility. You have to know what the overall group health is, because a lot of that is going to dictate what the group does as a whole. See, a lot of people take a bottom-up approach, and I mean, when you're doing fundamentals, when you're looking at the balance sheet of a company, yes, that is important. That is very important. You know, you have to find strength. You know, as you know, I don't invest in penny stocks here. Okay, it's not what I do. I mean, 9 out of 10 times that's going to be a losing proposition. Yeah, you might get lucky once, but if you do it long enough, you know, that's a whole nother ball of wax. That's a whole nother click. So not to get away from what I was saying, you know, you really have to pay attention to the overall market breadth. The stock is negative right now. I probably would not be a buyer of this stock right now. I probably wouldn't be a seller now that we're down this low. Now, if the stock pierces and closes 4 o'clock p.m., okay, after 4 o'clock, if it finds itself lower than this 987, I mean, I wouldn't be holding this stock right now anyways, because there was plenty of opportunity to sell this stock. Here's distribution right here, okay, back in May, okay, of this year, okay. This is before we had the big downturn. Here's a new low right here. Here's what I mean. On May 25th, the stock put in a low of $14.35, $14.35 right here on May 25th. On June 1st, it closed below that. It closed at $14.20. Okay, and then we saw major distribution. Yeah, it came back up and found resistance at the 20, at the 50. Okay, so it really, you know, this is really, you have to really look at why you're holding the stock. You know, why are you holding the stock? Is it because you want long-term appreciation? Is it because you're doing it for a trade? Okay, you know, over here, I mean, I probably wouldn't even buy the stock even down here with this, because I mean, you had all this resistance to contend with, the 20, the 50, the 200. Okay, and sure enough, look, bang at his head and straight down it comes. Okay, here's another low right here. I mean, I'm just gonna go and so you can see how I picked these lows here. Okay, here's one right there. Distribution, heavy volume, closes below on July 27th. Another leg down. That was another chance, you know. And then, you know, I'm not looking at the overall market breadth here on that day. It probably wasn't very good. So that, coupled with that and the group being sold off, you know, these are all things that have to weigh in. They all have to weigh in to a decision of whether to buy, hold, or sell a position. I mean, any position. You just can't look at the stock on its own. You just can't. I mean, I know I keep reiterating that, but you know what? It's that important. It is so important, because the same thing happens on the way up. I mean, do you remember back in the tech bubble? Okay, you could have thrown a dart, put the Wall Street Journal on a wall, thrown a dart, whatever it landed in, you could have bought. You would have made money, a lot of money. Okay, that's because the overall market breadth was bullish, extremely bullish. Okay, and it's the same exact thing. You ride the way up, you ride the way down. So, okay, enough of that. I keep going back to that. But guys, it's important. It is so important. Okay, because I can, you know, a lot of technical analysts doing the same thing I'm doing right here. They'll offer an opinion on any stock and just leave it out there on its own. Okay, the overall market breadth right now, okay, tomorrow when the market opens, okay, what, 22nd, okay, the 22nd of August when the market opens, it is not a healthy environment to be buying stocks. It just isn't, because you can see lower lows. Hey, would I rather own something cheaper than it is today? Even if I'm buying it for the next 10 years. You're darn right I would. I mean, you go to the store, you don't pay premium for your things, you find coupons, right? The stock market's the same way. If there's things telling you that the market wants to go lower, why would I even, I mean, maybe if I want to buy 600 shares, maybe I'll establish a 100 share position and then another 100. But even then, I let this thing base out, and it's starting to do that. It is starting to do that. And then when it picks up momentum, it goes up to the upside, hopefully. Okay, then you add on to your position. You don't sell, right? Well, most people, when they're crashing down, is when they buy. And in this averaging down notion, I mean, you really have to. I'm getting away from everything, aren't I? I really am. Ford. If I was a holder of Ford right now, no matter where I bought it here, I would have never bought stock here. I mean, it's a no man's land. It needs to be set, and this is why it's important to let a stock trade when it reaches new levels. Jot that down. Let a stock trade when it reaches new levels. It has to prove itself. There's nobody here to catch a bid. Nobody here to say, you know what, I want to, you know, I want to bid up the stock. I mean, there's nothing that you see here of relative near history that tells you, you know what, there might be buyers in there that want to buy. That's what these things do. It shows you where the buyers can come in and when the sellers are going to come in, right? That's what now on the way up, guess what? There's people that are holding this stock from up here, that they want to sell. That's where you use the averages. They want to sell here, they want to sell here, they want to sell here. When they look at this thing and see it bounce up, they're going to use every opportunity to get out of the stock. Okay? Well, hopefully, if the market sets itself up right, the stock will pierce these levels to the upside. Okay, but that is yet to be seen. I mean, again, overall market breadth, people. I mean, you really got to pay attention. You're gonna hear me say that to you. You know, you're throwing up that stuff. I mean, it is important, so important, and so often it is just treated with disregard. Nobody has any clue of you know what it means to understand the overall condition of the markets. Anyhow, that's Ford. Okay, now it could base out here, and it closed below this $9.87, and we're going to look at volume too. Okay, if this thing's definitely, if it closes below this and volume picks up above the average line here, even if it doesn't, I mean, we're just going to have to look at that, and that's for you to judge. I don't know what your risk is. I don't know what you know, what kind of position you're holding. Does it represent a lot of your portfolio? Does it represent a little bit? You know, that's for each and every one of you to decide. I'm not going to tell you to buy or sell. I'm just telling you the overall condition of this thing, and it's bloody awful. It's bloody awful. So, and the heels also of the overall market breadth. Okay, and this is not the only stock that's like this right now. I mean, there's a lot of stocks in this condition. Why? Because the overall market breadth. Okay, enough about the market breadth. But you're going to hear it. You're going to hear it a lot. So there's Ford. Okay, and it closed below 987. I'll definitely, if I had a position, I would definitely think about selling at least some of it to control my risk. Okay, on the upside. Okay, let's look at resistance now. Well, you know, just take your averages. I mean, you got this old high right here on August 16th. It can bounce up and hit its head on there. Okay, you've got, and it actually converges here with the 20-day moving average right there. You got the 50-day. Look at here. Okay, that low that I drew back on June 20th, it actually converges with coincides with this 50-day. So you use a 50-day, 1256, another place where the stock might see sellers come in and bump its head on here like it did here, like it did here, like it did here. Get my point? Okay, this is where this technical stuff, man. It's good to know. And then the 200 way up here. We won't worry about that. We're so far away from that right now. Good heavens. So anyhow, that's where Ford is right now. I think if I was a holder of it down here, which I would never, because I would never hold this position, but if I was, I would at least let it trade, see what it does. The longer it stays above this low of 987, the more bullish it's going to be for the stock. Why? Because anytime a stock trades above a key support level, okay, the more it's saying, I am being supported here, I want to go higher. So that's, you know, and then you're going to see resistance here, definitely. You're going to see resistance at this level, okay, and then so on. So you know, that is a technical opinion today, okay, August 21st. That is the opinion today on Ford. Let's look at others. Here is Toyota Motor. Boy, similar charts, huh? Different cars, okay, different culture, corporate culture, all of that nonsense, different CEOs. But again, proving my point, overall market breadth, and more precisely, overall health of the group, the automakers group, okay? Seeing the same kind of depression, right? Okay, I zoomed in. I zoomed in a little bit here, so you can take a look. Okay, and Toyota Motor might find support here at this old trend line. Okay, all this again in lieu of the overall market breadth and the overall condition of the automakers group, which are both poor. Which one's this one? Tell the difference, can't you? Honda Motor Company. Okay, this is the same scenario, guys, just in no man's land right now. Okay, so you know, I did this video so you can see the idea, my thesis of making sure that when you buy a stock that the group is doing well. We just looked at 3 different companies, 3 different CEOs, 3 different corporate cultures, geographically all over the place, all of them different. Okay, however, same group, and they all almost look identical. They look like triplets. I mean, so we will catch you later. Again, make sure you check us out on stockmarketplan.com. You can go there and you can subscribe to my feed. Anytime I upload a video, you will get it in your email, and you can view it as I post them. Okay, and right now things are, you know, time is of the essence right now. Okay, a lot of timely decisions being made right now in the overall market. So please go on there. It's free for right now, and hopefully we can learn something together. Any questions, comments, inquiries, whatever, please, you know, comment on the website. Go to stockmarketplan.com. This video will be there. You can post comments for everybody to see. Not everybody has YouTube. Just trying to build a forum so everybody can converse and share ideas and discuss them, and you know, so we can move forward with a better plan. Again, guys, this is Marvin from stockmarketplan.com. That was your look at the automakers group. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.